નમસ્કાર દર્શક મિત્રો, હું કૃપેશ નાયક ફરી એક વખત આઈસીટી કો ફોર યુ ચેનલમાં આપ સૌનું હાર્દિક સ્વાગત કરું છું. આઈસીટી કો ફોર યુ ચેનલ જે વિદ્યાર્થી મિત્રોએ જે એજ્યુકેશનલ રસ ધરાવનારાઓએ સબસ્ક્રાઇબ કરી છે તેમનો હૃદયપૂર્વક આભાર માનું છું, અને જે નવા વ્યુઅર્સ છે તેમને સબસ્ક્રાઇબ કરવા વિનંતી કરું છું. આઈસીટી કો ફોર યુ ચેનલ આપને નીચેની માહિતી એજ્યુકેશન લગતી પીરસી રહી છે. આજે આપણે Standard 12 Medium English Economics Chapter 2 Indicators of Growth and Development. We are discussing on this matter. ICT Co for you provide you one app also from Play Store. You can just type ICT Co for you and install it, and you can get so many links of textbook, PDF textbook. So many videos are there. So just you can only type. You have to type only ICT Co for you channel and app, and you can easily install it. One-time register procedure are there. You just fill the details and register your mobile number and create your password with small capital with some special character and numerical data. Then you can easily log in, and then you can see all the data. Now my app link can see in comment box, from which you can give online test within 3 days. Second chapter, Indicators of Growth and Development. In this chapter we are going to study meaning of economic growth, definitions, limitations of concept of economic growth, meaning of economic development, definitions, characteristics of economics, limitations of concept of economic development, difference between growth and development, indicators of development like growth rate of national income, growth rate of capita income, improvement quality of life, that is PQLI. In PQLI, what is the PQLI, what is the aspect of that, what are the limitations are there, what are the reason why there is only 3 reasons, and importance aspect, positive aspect, limitations, and presentation also there. Then fourth is HDI, that is Human Development Index, the determinations of this important aspects, human development indicators of some countries of the world in 2015, rewrite consultations, importance of human development index, and limitations. The most of the important object of the various countries of the world, more so after the Second World War, during the 1939 and 44, the nucleus of all economic thinking has been attained to economic development. The terms economic growth and development have become popular after the Second World War, since the developing countries attempt to solve problems like unemployment, poverty, hunger, death, inequalities of income, wealth distributions, etc. It can say that awareness level of developing countries towards attaining of the development increase since developing countries start attempting to reduce the gap of per capita income level with the developed country, and to increase the standard of living through economic development. It should be remembered that the need for improving the level of economic development is not for the developing countries alone, but also for the developed country, but for the different reasons. Developing country aim to improve the standard of living of the people by reducing poverty and unemployment, while the developed country aim to maintain the privileged higher standard of living. If we think in this way, maintaining economic growth is aim of developed country, and attaining speedy economic development is the prime requirement of the developing country. General economic development and economic growth are considered to be same. In the past, the word growth and development were used interchangeably, but few economists have always considered economic growth and economic development as a different. According to Professor Mrs. Ursula Hicks, the solution for the economic problem for developing country is economic development, and for the developed countries it is economic growth. Very important. The economist Mrs. Ursula Hicks suggests that if any economic problem in developed country, that is called economic growth, and in the developing country it is called development. So here meaning for the economic growth we are going to discuss. Growth means economic growth. Economic growth relates to the long run increase in the total output, that is called total production, quantum of the production of an economy. In economic growth, there is a continuous increase in the real national income and the real per capita income. Here two words is very important for that. If we increase our real national income and real per capita income in the same way, we can get maximum output in the economy. So if we work with four factors of production like capital, land, labor, entrepreneur, it is ability to increase the productivity. In short, it can be said that the supply of factors of production, their availability, productivity and efficiency tends to increase, leading to continuous increase in the real income, real national income, real per capita income. Thus economic growth is quantitative changes, very important here. Quantitative changes are there, not qualitatively. Economic growth are only in the base of quantitative changes. Economic growth shows the increase in the output and gross national output through which a country economic status is depicted. It is held in comparative value evaluation of economic of two countries. Now definition given by Professor Hansen and Simon Kuznets. Economic growth refers to the economic rate of national income or rise in the total quantum of goods and services. Here Professor Hansen say that economic growth are referred to only increase in the national income and rise of quantum of goods and service which are required for the economy, and the total supply which are only made by the force of factor land, labor, entrepreneur, capital. And if the rate of these two are increased, service like banking service, insurance service, whatever, so these are the increase in the economy, that is called economic growth. In Simon Kuznets' words, a long-term increase in capacity of country to supply diverse economic goods to its people is known as economic growth. Here a long-term increase, very important word is a long-term increase in capacity of country to supply diverse economic goods to its people is known as economic growth. Now there are four limitations for the concept of this economic growth. First is economic growth takes into consideration only the quantitative changes, not qualitatively. Second, economic growth, there is rise in the national income and per capita income, but institutional and psychological factors remain as before. Here only keep in mind that growth consider only quantum, total production, real income and per capita income, not consider the institutional and psychological factors in that. So third is the concept of economic growth narrow and depict only the rise, the rate and extent of output. It is considered of only production, not human being. For the concept economic growth is not of much use in understanding the welfare of people. So these 4 points of the limitations is very important for section C also. You have been asked in 2 marks in section C. Now meaning of economic development. We need to understand as what economic development actually means. When economics of Asia, Africa, Latin America have become proactive in achieving economic development. Economic development is a process which continues to achieve economic well-being. Hence the term economic development has very wide meaning which include economic growth. Very important. Economic development economic growth is including in economic development. Economic welfare and economic progress. There are two concepts is there. In recent past we see the growth is only depend on the quantum of goods and services, increase in the per capita income and real income, but here there are two various tools are also there, welfare and the progress of economy. Even in economic development there is an increase in the real national income and real per capita income. But economic development is not just about quantitative changes but also about qualitative changes. Development is different from growth. It is multi-dimensional process. Very important. Development is known as a multi-dimensional process. It means that the multi-dimensional process means we have to study of all the points in economy, not only thinking about growth rate in the total production. The process of development, economic and social structure are also part of economy. Along with economic progress takes place in the society too. Generally, the structure of national income also undergoes a changes. The contribution of the agriculture that we already discussed in standard 11, there are 3 major factors of the any economy, that is industrial service and primary sector. So these are the institutional changes are also there that should be considered in the economic development. The contribution of the industry service sector are also increased. The disguise unemployment in agriculture sector get on employment in other two sectors. Modern technologies are also included. New seeds are involved in such a result of agricultural field. So these all are the consideration in development. Now there are 2-3 different economists give the idea about the definition of economic development, very important for section A and section B. Michael Todero, G.M. Miller and McCullough are given 3 various concepts of economic development definitions. First is economic development is a multi-dimensional process, very important. According to Michael Todero, development is dash, that is called multi-dimensional process, or multi-dimensional process idea given by dash, that is called Michael Todero. Now second was G.M. Miller. Economic development is such a process in which there is no increase in the population living below the poverty line, and distribution of the income does not further increase the inequalities, and there is a continuous rise in the real per capita income of a country for a long period of time. Very important. Here G.M. Miller say that in economy no one can going below the poverty line. Distribution of income are equally, poor are not become poorer and richer not become richer. So equality of income distribution is very important in this concept, and long run procedure are going on. McCullough said that economic development is a process which increases the factors of the production and creates changes in techniques of production, due to which per capita income continuously increase and the standard of living continuously rises, respectively of whether population remain constant or increase. In the sense of McCullough says that when the population remains same or increase, the standard of living and the per capita income are always increase or high rate, so that it will be said that there is a development. Now with the help of this definition, there are 7 to 9 points for the characteristics of economics that is very important for section E. Economic development is a continuous process. Economic development is a slow but strong process in the predetermined order in the direction. In any country, development is a process which is easy to start but difficult to maintain. The process of development is usually fast initially, but then after it will go down in slow mode. So economic development is a continuous process. Second, quantitative and qualitative changes take place. In the recent past, we see that only growth can achieve growth of total production and total service, but here in qualitative and quantitative changes are there in economic development. In economic development, output increase, which is qualitatively and quantitatively both are there, which means there is a changes in standard of living, thinking about human being also, welfare are also considered in development. Third point is change in demand. There is a rise in the income. People are getting better standard of living, and their income if changes, the demand is also changes. The initial stages, the development are there, basic and primary requirement are there, but then after when the subsequently the income of higher and higher, then rise of income can easily change the demand structure. They can get comfort zones, they can get luxury goods also there. So change in demand in development. Labor become more dynamic. Development leads to increase the education of labor, which make him more dynamic. That is, education, age and the part of their standard of living can increase their demand. Also labor can getting education, and with the help of education their dynamic changes are also there. Increase capital formation. Development leads the increase in the demand for different commodities. New enterprises come forward due to which the rate of investment and capital formation increase continuously. Changes in the technology. There is a shift at dependence. So many stages are going to break. So many technology are aware. Farmers are not going to farm with the traditional method. They are input some techniques also. In same way, there are service sector or any industrial sector are get so many changes in the technology. After a particular stage, development become self-moving. Now 7 points are there for the development of their economics. Limitations of the concept of economic development. What are the limitations? Now 3 limitations for the economic development. Economic development indicates the progress of a nation. It shows the national economic scenario, but in real sense it cannot discuss the human development. It cannot become the index of human progress. In economic development we can see there is no possibility to human progress. So economic development cannot be measured as a economic growth. It is very difficult to measure. Economic development cannot be measured easily. Why? Because there are two parts are there, quantitative and qualitative changes. Qualitatively changes, that means standard of living, poverty, unemployment, these all are not easy to measure. Third point is when economic development takes place, the standard of living of people improve. Through economic development is taking place in India today. There is not much improvement in the standard of living of the people, and therefore we cannot say that economic development means improvement in the standard of living. If the standard of living are improved, we can find out so many beggars, so many unemployment are there in Indian economy. So some of the people have their good standard of living. It doesn't mean entire economy can develop. So this is the three limitations for the economy. It is very important for section D also. In 3 marks you have been asked for section 2. In section C 2 marks are there. Now very important for section E, 5 marks are there. Economics, differences between economic growth and economic development. Very important this one. So in 9 points you have completed 5 marks. You have to get 5 marks. You have to only and only give 9 points of that. If you have failed any of this point, you are not able to get 5 marks. So keep in mind that very important. And in recent past paper of board exam, there are 3 marks question are also there for the growth and development. So keep in mind and ready for the section D and section E, this one. Now economic development, economic growth. With the above discussion, we can find out there are so many changes and so many differences between similar word of growth and development. So first is economic development. Economic development is a process while it is occurrence. Economic development have 2 phases, quantitative and qualitative. Here only growth contain only quantitative changes. It is terms of only outputs. Then economic development, the question of utilization of the unutilized resources. But in growth, economic growth emphasis on the distribution of the available resources. The concept of economic development is related to the developing country, while growth is considered as a developed country. Difficult to measure. Development is difficult to measure, but economic growth is easy to measure. It is broad concept. Development is a broad concept, while the growth is narrow concept. Development is related to distribution along with their per capita income, while growth is only related increase in the per capita income. It is not parts of equalization in distribution of per capita income, national income. But here in development, there is a related to distribution along the per capita income. Economic development is a slow process, while growth is very fast and rapid process. Development is not possible without growth, but growth is possible without economic development. So this is very important. Now the second point of this chapter is indicators of the development. If we feel not well and if there is illness in our body, there is a one instrument for that. That is called stethoscope. And we can see the data on which we can find out our level of temperature on the thermometer also, and doctor can judge us that there is some fever also. So same way, indicators of development, whether any economy are developed or not, it is considered by these 4 factors. That is, first is rate of growth rate of national income, second rate of growth for per capita income, third PQLI, that is quality of life, physical quality of index, and STD, human development index. First is growth rate of national income. According to this indicator, a country is said to have attained economic development if there is a continuously increase in the real national income of the country for a long period of time. If the rate of rise is national income is high, the development of the rate is said to be high. And if national income increasing at lower rate, the rate of the development is low. If the national income does not rise, it depicts the state of stagnancy. And if national income decrease, there is undevelopment or negatively development. According to these indicators, real income and not money income is taken into consideration, and hence national income is calculated not at current price but its constant price. Here the national income growth rate table is there. In table 2.4 we can see Norway, we can see here 2.2, America 2.4, Sri Lanka 5.4, China 7.3, India 7.3 and Pakistan 4.7. If we consider this growth rate of annual with the developed country and developing country, Norway and America have only 2.2 to 2.4. That doesn't mean they have not going to, they already developed, they have in way of growth, so they only maintain their growth rate. But some developing country like India, China, Pakistan, they are in the way of development. So the development rate of the annual growth rate of the national income are going to very high. Why? Because they want to reach the level of growth. So the India achieved 7.3 annual growth rate of national income. It is very good and commanding position in compare with some Norway and America. Why? Because they have already got some development extent of their national income, but India are in the developing way, so the growth rate are very higher than the other. Now with the help of this we can see the development of Indian economy with 7.3 annual growth rate of national income, while Norway are going to 2.2. Norway, as per consideration of PQRI and STDI, stands and its first position, that we discuss later on, but now it is limitations are also there for the indicators of growth rate of national income. First is difficulty in the calculating the true national income, that we already learned in standard eleven also. Double counting, production are there, difficulty in calculation, depreciation also, 2 to 3 various methods are there, illegal income tax, avoidance of tax, some of the hidden, some of the income are there, illiteracy, unemployment are also there, and more than one occupation are also there. So there are so many difficulty to calculate the national income. So if the difficulty to calculate national income, we cannot find out the real annual growth of national income. Second point is population. By just knowing the national income of the country, the rate of the economy development cannot be understood. Hence the extent of population should also be known. If the rate of the growth of national income is lesser than the rate of the growth of population, then development is said to be negative. If the rate of growth of national income is higher than the rate of the growth of the population, then the rate of the economic development is positive. So population is also important factors are there continuously. After 1921, India is going with high rate of population rate, birth rate is very high. So in this content, if national income is going to high, but if the population rate are also high, then there is not possibility to development. Different method of calculation national income. There are income method, expenditure method, production method are there, and there is no any parameters for the same for the every one country. As a different countries adopt different methods to calculate national income. International comparison are very difficult for the these national income methods. So different methods are also one of the limitations of this point. Now growth rate of per capita income. After that, second indicators are going on, growth rate of per capita income. According to this indicator, when the per capita income of the country increased for the long period continuously, it can be said that economic development has taken place. Per capita income is average income per